I love my makeup brushes, but these days they seem like they're so high maintenance. I'm always in a state of washing and letting them air dry. Hi, I'm Laura Ray, and today I want to share with you how I use these silicone brushes, which are really low maintenance, to apply my makeup. If you're a woman over 55, I hope you'll click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll know when I upload a video. The silicone brush set I have has 7 brushes, so I'm going to show you today how I use them to apply my makeup. We'll start with foundation. There are 2 larger brushes in the set that I have, and this set will be linked below. It's in my Amazon store. Many of you have seen me use it for weeks to apply my sunscreen, my moisturizer, and these brushes work great for them. They're so hygienic. You can just wash them with soap and water. Also, when you're applying makeup, you can take a makeup wipe and wipe them off and go right on to your next product. So they're so simple to use. I can't believe all the uses I've found for these. But as far as foundation, I think this is the most problematic. The rest of the ways I'm going to show you are very easy. Now, let me say I love them still, but for a more moisturizing foundation. When I use my IT foundation, these silicone brushes work amazing. When I used more of a runny liquid foundation like my Catrice, it was a little more challenging, but still can be done, and I think looks beautiful when you go over at the end with a damp sponge. Now, these are the 2 larger brushes. This one has a little dip, which fits perfectly under the eye. I love this when I apply eye cream or if I'm trying to bring the foundation up under the lashes. As far as this brush, it's more rounded at the end, and I find this is great in general for applying the foundation. Now let's talk about technique. When I apply the foundation, I first brush some on, but work in small sections, and then what you're going to do is a patting motion. So you don't want to just streak it all over and be done. It's not going to look as flawless as you would like. So if you just do a patting motion in little circles, it will push the foundation into the skin. Now, one thing you'll notice, you'll need so much less foundation. When you apply foundation with regular brushes or even with a sponge, a lot of it is absorbed into the bristles or into the sponge itself, and you lose a lot. So this is a lot more economical way to apply your makeup. I had this liquid brow it's called Unbelievable Brow from L'Oreal, and I love it, but the problem with it is this applicator. The applicator is just too large for my fine brows. My hair in my brows is very fine, and I don't have super thick brows. So what I like to do is take this pointed brush, which is also great for lining the eyes, dip into the product, and then do little strokes as if I were using a brow pencil. The nice thing about this, as opposed to using a brow pencil, is this liquid lasts much longer in my brow hair and on the skin itself, so I don't lose my brows as the day goes on. These brushes are perfect for applying cream shadow. Cream shadow is very difficult to apply with brushes. I've done it, but it is challenging, and the problem is when you go to wash them, the product gets really hung up on the brush hair. So these flatter, smaller brushes are great for cream shadow. I just rub it around, get some product on, and then just pat it onto the eye. Now, what's nice about this set, if you have smaller eyes, my daughter has much smaller eyes, then you can use these tinier brushes, which can also be used on the lips. But if you have a larger space you're trying to work with, or you're applying, say, one color, one shade, and you're wanting to do it all over, you can use this larger brush. Now, the smaller ones are very flexible and can get in tight spaces, so these are great for concealer. If you're trying to brighten the inner corner of your eye, the outer corner, this little tiny one can fit into those tight spaces. And again, the way I apply it is just pouncing the brush in little circles until the product absorbs into the skin. I found for lining my eyes, this silicone brush actually works better than a regular brush. So I take my Maybelline gel and just dip it in. You barely use any product and just glide it along the lash line. It slides faster and easier than brush hair. And I find that these little tiny brushes like this sometimes separate, and then you don't get a straight line, where with this I can get a much better line. I like to use these 2 brushes for contouring. This one that has the little bit of a dip fits right into the cheekbone. So I like to sort of line the product there and then take this flatter brush and just sort of pull up very gently and then pat. So it's sort of like pull and pat. You don't have to pull much. I'm using a feather touch. I want to say that too, that when I'm using these, I'm barely touching my skin. Now, I also like them for getting into the hairline. I do apply my product there since I don't have bangs. Also in the Florida weather, it's always windy. So you want to bring the makeup into the hairline and have it all smoothed out. Now for blush, this is amazing. It works great with the Daniel Sandler watercolor blush that I've talked about. Even though this is the texture of water, it works amazing. I can just pat the brush into the product and just press it gently into the skin. I wanted to mention too that I've used several times my Physicians Formula multi-stick for this, and I just love it because I can use just a couple of brushes and be done. I do love this brush, the one that's rounded on the end and flat for this. I will just rub it over the product and just pat it right into my cheek, and then I use a smaller brush on my eyes. So this is great for a quick one and done look. When I'm highlighting my face with my Maybelline brightener, I will just take one of these smaller brushes, tap right onto the top of the sponge, and then go down the nose, on the chin. These smaller brushes just are amazing for these little hard to reach areas. One of my subscribers recently said how much she loves the Physicians Formula, the Spotlight Illuminator, and I had some and I do love it. And this is awesome for applying this product. Just again, just like I do with the blush, just very little. You are going to use about 1/4 of the amount of products that you typically would use with a silicone brush. You can use these for applying powder. I have used them for eyeshadow. I don't think they'd be great for a very complicated look where you're doing a lot of blending. It also works amazing for applying powder. I talked last week about finger powdering and just sort of powdering strategically. That's what I do. This works wonderful. I just rub it right on top of the powder and then just press like I would with my fingers. But instead of my fingers, I can just use this. I love the little brush for lip balms. So if you have any Burt's Bees, any of these types of lip balms at home, I think you would enjoy applying it with this instead of right out of the tube. What I like is it gives you more control where you're applying it. Now I've been using this Revlon lipstick that I love so much. It's number 21 and it's so sleek pink, and it's such a beautiful cool shade if you're looking for something cool. And I just rub it on top and apply it just like I would if it was Burt's Bees or any of these other lip balms. Now if you're a fan like I am of a lip sleeping mask or lip mask, this is great for that because you can just dip in one time. You don't have to get it all over your fingers and just apply it to your lips. For me, these brushes have been so worth it because not only can I apply my makeup with these, but my skincare. And the biggest thing for me is moisturizer and sunscreen. I love this brush here for doing that, and it just makes it a lot easier. I don't miss spots. It's also great for applying neck cream. So if you're like me and you use the Gold Bond neck cream that I've talked about, you can put some, I put it on my glass palette and I just pull it down like this. So many uses, so inexpensive, so hygienic and easy to clean. It's a win-win. Now, speaking of winners, the winner of last week's giveaway will be in the first pinned comment. This week, I have this beautiful little velvet bag and one of the Flower Beauty lipsticks that I'll be giving away. If you just leave me a comment below and make sure you're subscribed, I hope you'll also go over to my Facebook page. I'm posting things daily on Facebook that you might find helpful, and I hope you'll have a fantastic week.